Hot Mic is brought to you by Red Wing Shoes of Fargo. Built to last. 3003 Main Avenue, Fargo.
Hot Mic with Dom Izzo.
Really? Really, Dom?
No.
I like what Dom's doing.
Okay.
Dom Izzo.
Jeez, come on, Dom. What do you think I am, a magician?
Yeah, I'm fired up, Dom. What else could I say?
Absolutely. It was great to get on the field, and then Dom came up to me, and I'm trying to walk away from me. I just wanted to enjoy myself out there.
Hot Mic.
Great job.
There's got to be some kind of intelligent question about something.
Coach Dom Izzo, WDAY in Fargo, North Dakota.
Can you give me a layup or something?
Hot Mic. Presented by Northwestern Mutual.
That program is second to none.
On the networks of WDAY.
You know, if it's not about sports, I find it very hard to concentrate.
Here's Dom Izzo.
Good Thursday morning. We start our show with, I'm just going to call it right now, folks. If you missed this last night, you missed out on maybe one of the best sporting events we've had in the last 10 to 15 years. Even if you don't like basketball, this had everything, including a Spurs boat race. This shot from Dylan Harper put San Antonio up by 27 points in the first half. The Spurs couldn't miss. They led by 29 when this play happens in the early part of the third quarter. Victor Wembanyama goes up high on Karl Anthony Towns. Wemby gets called for a flagrant foul, a makeup from the other night when he didn't get called for a flagrant on Jalen Brunson. That woke the Knicks up. We move to the fourth quarter now. It's a 15-point game when Cat hits this impossible shot. Cuts the lead down to 12 over Keldon Johnson. I'm not sure how in the world that went in. Under 6 minutes to go. Now it's down to 9. When Jalen Brunson drives and scores, it's a 7-point lead. Adam Sandler love it. Jerry Seinfeld love it. Into the corner, OG Anunoby. Remember that name, hits the corner triple. Taylor Swift loves it. The Knicks are within 4. That three from Jalen Brunson. Unbelievable. He hit it over Wemby. It's a 1-point game. Same score here. They turn the ball over. Josh Hart give the Knicks the lead, and he misses the layup. It was as simple as that. He could have given the Knicks the lead. San Antonio with the ball. Up 1. Wemby will drive. Remember this. He's fouled on the way to the basket, so he's going to get 2 free throws. Make one of them. And he misses the first. This is a guy who's not nearly automatic, but he's pretty darn good at the line. And he missed both of them. So the Knicks get the ball. Down 1, minute and a half to go. Brunson, floater, gets the roll. The Knicks have the lead. The Knicks are up. Larry David loves it. 1-point lead. De'Aaron Fox, pull-up jumper, misses. The putback from Stephon Castle is fouled, so he goes to the line. He makes the first. Ties the game at 105. This is a big-time spot. Hits the second. So San Antonio is back in front at 106-105. 30 seconds to go. Brunson drives, misses. Spurs get the rebound. It comes out to De'Aaron Fox. For some reason, he goes to the basket. Anunoby blocks him. So the Knicks get the ball with 7 seconds to go. They nearly go over and back. Watch this. On Alvarado, I mean, that is as close to over and back as you can get. It's not because the ball wasn't there. So the Knicks take a timeout. 5 seconds to go. Brunson, you know he's going to get it. Pulls up from 30 feet, misses, but Anunoby is there for the tip. Nobody blocked him out. What's the deal with that? Look at this. There's nobody to block him out, and the Knicks now lead it by 1 with a second to go. MSG was literally rocking. Look, I mean, this is a picture-perfect tip. That's how you draw it up. And it's also how you draw it up for not playing defense to box out. So the Spurs have one last chance. They try to get it in, but Cat deflected it. They never get a shot off. And the New York Knicks complete the greatest comeback in the history of the NBA Finals from down 29 points and beat the San Antonio Spurs. The reaction shots from last night were never ending. Whether it was McFeely's guy Chalamet, T. Swift, Adam Sandler, Chris Rock, just the Knicks players alone, just the Knicks fans alone was outrageous. 107-106 to the Knicks, who now lead the series 3-1. Brunson was fantastic last night. Anunoby, 33 points on 10 of 15 shooting. The Spurs were held to 30 points. 30 points in the second half. 14 points in the third quarter. 16 points in the fourth quarter. Wow. Just take a deep breath as we say good morning and welcome to our show here on this 11th day of June, 2026. Game number 5 will be on Saturday night in San Antonio. I have no idea how the Spurs can even come back. We'll see. This could be a Knicks coronation. Because at one point, at about 8:30 last night, we're thinking, all right, there's going to be at least 6 games in this series. We don't know that yet. That'll be Saturday night, 7:30 on WDAY. If the Spurs win it, we get a Game 6 back in New York. That'll be next Tuesday. Wow. Just crazy. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hot Mike here on this 11th of June, 2026. If for those that turned it off at halftime, if you went to bed, I don't blame you. I mean, if a team's up 27, up 29, yeah, it's likely over. But the Knicks have done this in this playoffs before. They rallied from way back against Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals. Remember Game 1? They came all the way back and beat the Cavs in a game that they never should have won. And now they've come all the way back and beaten San Antonio in the most epic finish. And I mean, I was just thinking off the top of my head, the city of New York has had some of the most ridiculous sports finishes. Epic games just that come to mind, even in my lifetime. I'm not talking in the 150 years of professional sports that you can think of Bobby Thompson's shot around the world to win the pennant for the New York Giants over the Brooklyn Dodgers, right? You want to go that far back? Sure. That's maybe the most famous baseball home run there's ever been. You want to just talk in my lifetime, the last 45 years plus, right? There's a couple that come to mind right away. As the Mets fan in me, would be Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. That's the Bill Buckner game that the Mets came back and won in the bottom of the 10th inning when they're down 3-2. Game will be remembered forever. I think of, my dad will smile about this, the Yankees in the World Series in 2001. Right after 9/11, the Yankees won back-to-back games 4 and 5 at Yankee Stadium. I'm just talking in the city of New York, in New York proper, right? They won Game 4 on a Derek Jeter walk-off home run on the 1st of November because it went long on Halloween. And then the next night they won it on a walk-off. They tied the game on a home run in the bottom of the ninth and then won it on a walk-off hit that Chuck Knobloch, former Twin great, scored. Those 2 nights for the city of New York were, just because of the relation of it was a month and a half after the September 11th terrorist attacks, the city was levitating on those 2 games. Then you throw in what happened last night. I would always put in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in 1994 when the Rangers won and ended their 54-year drought. Those, just to come to mind, this game will be there. And they didn't win anything. They didn't win the championship last night. They came awfully darn close. But, I mean, you look everywhere today. You want to talk about the importance or the relevance of what happened last night? Good Morning America, well, we got some serious stuff going on in this country. The lead story on all 3 of the morning shows, I just flipped around real quick, was the game last night because of the historical impact. I think it doesn't hurt that the fact it's being played in the city of New York. If this happened in San Antonio, I don't know if it has the same impact. And the fact that you couldn't miss, and I'm sure people got annoyed on this, at least on social media, which I know is not real life, the different shots that ESPN had of the different celebrities, but that's part of it. Whether it was Ben Stiller, Chris Rock, Sandler, the Seinfeld guys, which was great to see Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld there. It adds to it. I'm sure maybe people roll their eyes, but you can't ignore that. Our poll question today, and you can vote. Feel free at Hot Mike WDAY. Here it is. Is it more of a, how do you best describe, I guess is the best way, Brody, you can throw it up here. Is it a Knicks fantastic comeback or a Spurs ultimate choke job? Vote now. I think I know what I'd like to say, because the fact that San Antonio scored 30 points in the second half is beyond damning. I don't understand what they were doing. They just got 3-point happy. No team stays as red hot as they were in the first half of the game last night. So you can vote on that, and we'll have our results before we say goodbye here in about an hour and 40 minutes or so. Because that, I don't know what De'Aaron Fox was doing at the end of the game. He gets the ball, it squirts out to him there on that loose ball rebound. All he has to do is dribble it out. The Knicks have to foul, and San Antonio likely wins the game. Instead, he went for the layup, and Anunoby blocks him, and that's going to get forgotten. That will get forgotten in days, not even talking months or years. It'll be forgotten in days because Anunoby won the game on the tip. But the fact that he blocked the shot and he took a shot is just a dumb play. There's no other way to sugarcoat it than that. And it gift wrapped the chance for the Knicks to win. Now, granted, the Knicks almost gave it away on an over and back violation, but they hang on to the ball, they get the tip, and win the game. Unbelievable. Good luck in Game 5. I don't know how that lives up to what we just saw last night. They get 2 days off here, so no game tonight, no game Friday. A rare Saturday night NBA Finals game. That has not happened in a while. I have to look that up on the last time we had an NBA Finals game on a Saturday night, not counting the delayed COVID year, because I know there was in 2021. I remember that the Suns and the Bucks played on a Saturday night, and that was weird. And also was playing in July because of the delayed start of the season. So take that out. I'm trying to remember the last time we had a Saturday night NBA Finals game. As it is, before the game tipped off, ABC and ESPN put out that the rating for Game 3 was the highest they had ever had since 1998. They had 24 million people watch Game number 3, the highest rated NBA Finals Game 3 since Michael Jordan was playing for the Bulls. That didn't tell you there's some people interested in the game. I don't know what is. It's just amazing. So we'll see what the Spurs have left for Game 5 on Saturday. Everything else seems kind of small potatoes compared to what went down last night. And I will, again, freely admit as we get ready to show you the Twins from last night. First off, it doesn't help when the game gets delayed again, much like Tuesday night by rain. An hour-and-a-half rain delay in Detroit. And by the time I actually wanted to care about the Twins, the Knicks were making their comeback. So, again, I will freely admit this is my first time seeing how the Twins fared. I know they won yesterday, and I know Royce Lewis hit a home run. So let's show you what happened in Detroit yesterday as they played Game 2. Twins and Tigers, again, battling through the raindrops at Comerica Park through an hour-and-a-half rain delay. Royce Lewis has been back up for about 5 days. Here he connects. This is his 50th career home run as a big leaguer. Gives the Twins a 1-0 lead. Tigers have tied it up at 1. This is home run number 20 for Byron Buxton. He will be an all-star again this season. That's a 3-run homer, makes it 4-1 Minnesota. The Tigers rally on this Kerry Carpenter base hit that scores a couple, makes it now a 4-3 score. Luke Keeschall hits one down to third. This is just a heck of a play. I like showing some great defensive plays. That one is top-notch down at third base. Josh Bell would give the Twins a little bit of breathing room here with a base hit in the top of the 7th. That made it a 5-3 Twins lead. Tigers would help them out on a wild pitch here. Brooks Lee would come in to score. Tigers are bad. They're 12 games under 500. They made it 6-3. Detroit would make it interesting in the bottom of the 9th on this RBI single from Dingler, make it 6-4. But they would get the final out with the Twins, and Minnesota gets a 6-4 victory to split the first two games. A bullpen game last night as they beat the Tigers 6-4 the final to pick up their 31st win of the season. Now 7 games under 500 heading into the finale later today. Buxton, though, up to 20 home runs on the year. We're going to have to start talking now about one of the best seasons in Twins history. You got 20 home runs, and we're on June 11th. We're still a month out from the All-Star break here. He's killing it right now for this team. They had 6 pitchers throw yesterday to get the win. They'll wrap up the series later today. Zebby Matthews goes. Cater Montero will throw for Detroit. First pitch just afternoon at Comerica. Finally, to set up our show, last thing, and then we'll get rolling here on a busy Thursday. This is a great sports day. Lots going on. The NCAA track championships are underway. We featured yesterday my conversation with Zach McGlynn from North Dakota State, Stephen, Minnesota product, who he and Kindred's Paul Olson are competing in the decathlon, which started yesterday. 5 events on Wednesday, 5 more coming up today. You heard McGlynn when I asked him about expectations to say, okay, what do we think? Well, he thought top 5 is reasonable. First event out of the chute is the 100 meters. Admittedly, for both of these guys, they said this is not their best event that they have. Each of them went in the same heat, finished in 7th and 8th in their respective race. So they get some points there. Next up was the long jump. Here's McGlynn going in the long jump, which, again, it's all about scoring the most amount of points you can. It's not necessarily winning. That helps in an individual event. As you see, there's Olson with his jump. They both finished near the bottom. Olson 23rd. McGlynn finished in 15th. Next up is the high jump. McGlynn actually had his best in the high jump, which right there he cleared. McGlynn finished in 7th in the high jump. Olson finished in 10th. That launched him up. Then the final event of the 5 for yesterday came in the 400 meters, which again that's a gross race when you've already had 4 other events happening. McGlynn went first up in his heat. Zach finished 19th overall in the 400 meters, ran it in 50.15. Olson had a better run in the 400 meters. You see, Paul, I know he's in last here, but again, compare that. There's 3 separate sections of what's happening in this individual race. Paul ran it in 49.33. That was good for 11th out of the 24 competitors in the decathlon. So heading into today, into the final 5 events, Zach McGlynn is 11th overall. He's got 3,960 points. He's 454 points behind the overall leader, which is Ben Barton out of BYU. Olson is 15th with 3,888 points heading into today's final 5 events. Now, this may give it away because I was trying to stump Goetzinger coming up in our second hour of the show. But the 5 events today, the 110-meter hurdles, that gets going at 12:45. Then the discus, the pole vault, the javelin, and then it ends with the 1,500 meters. That'll be in prime time tonight, about 9:45. You'll be able to watch that on ESPN. So we'll see. I mean, right now, top 8 are first-team All-Americans. That's where you're trying to aim for. McGlynn is within reach of that. Big day today. He's got a chance to get himself as a first-team All-American. Just reading a little bit of the recap here from Wes Offerman from NDSU. McGlynn clocked 11.16 on the 100-meter dash, posted marks of 23 feet 1 inch in the long jump. Olson's also, we showed you what he did in the 400. They're the first Bison in school history to compete in the decathlon. Again, begins with 110-meter hurdles at 12:45. All of that is streaming on ESPN+. Later tonight as well, UND's Jaden Keeler will be on the track. She'll be going in the 10,000 meters. That will go, what time? That's, I believe, the last event, second to last event of the night. That goes at 9:56 tonight. So we'll try and hopefully we'll get highlights of that depending on how long the hockey game is. But Keeler's got a heck of a chance to potentially win that. She's won everything else over the last 2 years, And we interviewed her last week on the show. She's got certainly high expectations to bring something home. So busy first day on the track. That'll continue today, and we'll give you complete coverage of that on our newscast tonight at 6 and 10. Of course, we'll recap everything tomorrow on Hot Mike. We have a packed show coming up for you here today on this Thursday morning. Our guest lineup is brought to us by Northwestern Mutual. Coming up at 9:35, we'll head out to Western North Dakota because Ray, North Dakota, already in the spotlight because they've got a heck of an athlete out there in Ty Barman. His dad Eric's going to join us because Ray is going to be undergoing some monumental athletic changes. Brand new football, brand new track complex is underway. Eric's going to give us the lowdown on that as part of the design committee to make this happen. So we got another turf field coming, folks. My dream of having semifinal, quarterfinal state football games on neutral sites can potentially happen now because I think almost every corner of the state we have artificial turf playing. We'll talk with Eric about that project and, of course, his son Ty and what has happened over the last calendar year for his family. We'll do that at 9:35. At 10 o'clock, our guy Sam Goetzinger is back with us. He's been on the road calling tournaments. He was on vacation last week. We'll get a chance to visit with Sam. He'll join us at 10. And at 10:35, Troy Goergen will join us from NDSU. He is the guy who's running the interference with EA Sports. We've talked about it earlier in the week. Troy will give us the lowdown on how College Football 27 and North Dakota State have come together. Of course, the video game comes out less than a month from now. The numbers on it are crazy. There's a story out of Delaware yesterday. Delaware had its debut year in the game this past year. Evidently, it was financially lucrative to them. We'll ask Troy about what the potential is there for NDSU and its fans coming up at 10:35. That and a heck of a lot more here over the next hour and 40 minutes or so. We'll take a deep breath because, man, that game last night was something else. We'll break. We come back. Another major sporting event begins today. The World Cup gets underway. We'll get you ready for the first couple matches when the United States plays, all that good stuff when Hot Mike returns on WDAY Extra, KSFL, KMBN, and Inforum.com after this. Off and rolling here on a Thursday morning. Glad you're joining us after an extended opening segment there. We had a lot to get to. It's just a fun when you have a moment like that. Even I think for non-basketball fans that were probably brought in last night to see what went down, that's hard to ignore. It really is, especially when you have the kind of comeback. That's what makes sports so much fun to even be a part of. Like as a fan, I'm going nuts. The Knicks somehow won the game, and somehow I didn't wake up anybody in my house. That's probably the most impressive performance for me last night. Now it's on. We got another major sporting event. The World Cup begins today. We got our full preview yesterday. I'm interested on a couple levels on this. I will watch because, again, as a sports rube that I am, and there's live sporting events happening in the middle of the day, and we're going to have that for the next, I'd say, I don't know, month and a half. I mean, the thing goes to July the 19th. That is a long time. But when this is over, we're in football mode. Some would say we never get out of football mode. But what I'm telling you, when the tournament is done, we have NFL training camps start that week. So, I mean, this is going to go for a bit, which is the intriguing part of this because of obviously expanding to 48 teams. You wonder, is this too much? And we talked about it yesterday on the show. Is there any real legitimate buzz for this? For the soccer rubes, the ones that love it, this biggest thing ever. And it's in the United States, it's in Canada, it's in Mexico. That's a really big deal for those people that are into it. I can't say for me, I'm totally gripped by it because, again, I think promotion from it has been virtually invisible. Like, you can't miss when you got to give ESPN, and they get plenty of knocks, and they've earned them, but you got to give them credit. When they promote something, you know about it, right? It's hard to miss knowing, even when the Stanley Cup Final is happening, right? I think most people say, all right, yeah, hockey game's tonight. Which it is in North Carolina for Game 5. NBA Finals, you can't miss it. If they're promoting Monday Night Football or something for the World Cup, I think a lot of people say, really? That starts when? Today? Is that right? And the answer is yes. The United States men's national team will play its first game tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Central Time. That's on Fox. Fox has the television rights to it, which I think also plays into us. Now, this could be their last go-around. Fox has had this since 2018. Infamously, the men missed the World Cup that year when the World Cup was in Russia. We did not go. And then 2022, the World Cup was infamously played in November and December, as you remember, because the FIFA, the soccer's governing body, gave it to Qatar. And last I checked, when they play the World Cup in the summer, might be kind of warm in a desert country. So they played it in the middle of our professional football and college football season. So I think this was a makeup that Fox basically gave, or FIFA gave to Fox. Okay, we'll give you this tournament in the United States, and to have some primetime windows for it, I'm sure people will be most excited about. Beyond this, though, we know the next Women's World Cup is going to Netflix. So does ESPN get back in it? Does Netflix say, hey, we're going to put our stamp down and we want it? That remains to be seen. But on the larger point of this is how many people actually know it's happening. Today is the first day for Group A. The teams in Group A, Mexico, South Africa, that's the first match taking place in Mexico City at 2 o'clock today on Fox. And then tonight, South Korea and Czechia play. They're the other two teams in this. Now, the top two teams in each group automatically make it to the knockout stage. And then the next three highest-placed third-place teams. Let me say that again. Next 8 highest-placing third-place teams in each group will fill out the knockout stage for the round of 32. And there may be, and that game's on FS1 tonight at 9 o'clock. So if you like your late-night sports, you're going to have plenty of that. They're going to have games on, like Saturday night. There's a game starting at 11 o'clock at night. I'm not 11 o'clock set. That's midnight. You thought the Hawaii game is late? We're going even an hour later than that. 11 o'clock on Saturday night. There's a match going on. That game's in Vancouver, which local time, that's a 9 o'clock local time start. But if you like, we got it for you over the next, I'd say, at least 3 weeks. To get through the group stage is going to take us about 3 weeks, which this is a big test to see if this will even be relevant. I'm really interested to see what the ratings are for this going forward, because Fox has decided we're not putting them on FS1. We have some. We're putting a bunch on the big network. And it's not just the U.S. plan. I'm really interested to see how that pans out here. We'll be paying attention. I can't say total paid attention. We'll have it on, see what happens over the next month or so. All right, let's break. When we come back, we'll head out to Western North Dakota. We got another turf football field coming, brand new track, Ray, North Dakota, in the spotlight. Eric Barman will join us to discuss the new project going on out there. That's coming up when Hot Mike returns on this Thursday morning. Back after this.
This is Hot Mike with Dom Izzo, presented by Northwestern Mutual.
Welcome back, everybody. Off and rolling here on a Thursday morning spectacular. So, saw a win to this, I think yesterday. I might be a couple days behind, which wouldn't be the first time that's ever happened. But we are in the midst of a boom of new athletic complexes going up across the state. Ray, North Dakota can now add its name to that list because they're breaking ground on a brand new sports complex. $12 million that is paid for by the city of Ray. No bonds on this, no taxpayer money. That will, I think, effectively change exactly what's going to look like out in Ray. Eric Barman's on the committee to make this happen and joins us this morning. It's good to see you. Thanks so much for doing this. Tell me how long this has been in the works to make something like this come to Ray, North Dakota.
Well, I think that it all started about 8 months ago. We probably first started having conversations about it, and started with a small group of us and just with an idea, and it all went from there. And you get enough people with a vision, and good things happen.
We have the renderings, Eric, so we're going to show them here as we talk about it. But just describe what this is, why is this needed, and how big a deal this can be for your community.
Well, the biggest part about everything is currently our baseball field and our football field are right on Highway 2, and with the oil field traffic, it's right along the road. You have kids driving through, so a lot of it has to do with public safety and safety of the kids. And if we can get it off of Highway 2 and also add a whole lot better complex, the city just felt it was, if we have the money to do it, it would be great.
I'm looking at it. This looks fantastic. When you saw the renderings of this, what went through your mind of like, this is what we envision it could look like?
Well, I grew up in Ray, and it's just crazy to think that to give the kids the opportunity to have something like this, and as a community member, it's just something that is kind of like beyond belief, but it's so cool to make it happen.
So what's the timeline on making this happen and becoming reality?
Well, we'll start on the football field is going to be phase 1, football field track complex, and that will all be completed, and we'll start playing on that in, it would be the 28 season.
Okay.
And then as soon as that's done, we'll move on and we'll do the community center and the pool. And once that's done, we'll move on and we'll do the baseball field.
So this is going to be something that's going to take a little bit, but this could totally, because it's not just for the high school use, this is public use as well from when it's going to be completed, right?
Yeah, it's going to be completely open to the public, and we also have a huge basin electric plant that's going up, and it's going to bring a lot more people into the city or town, I guess. So yeah, it's gonna be really good in the.
When you have this happen and just describe the excitement around it, what's feedback been like for people around town or in the surrounding co-ops with Powers Lake, Stanley, not too far away, to say this is happening, this is going to be a reality in the coming years?
Well, it doesn't even seem like real, really. You know, just like it's something that, you know, most small towns can't do, because you don't typically have the finances to be able to do something like this, and to be able to get, you know, just a turf football field and baseball field and community center. It's not normal for a town of 800 people to be able to pull something like this off.
Is it some of us in disbelief, Eric, that this is a reality?
It is, and it's not. This community never surprises me, because we support everything 100%. Mm-hmm. But yes, it is a little bit disbelief, just knowing like the gym that these guys have right now is way different than what I played in 1997, and to think of where we are today, it's a whole different game.
I got to ask on just this, Pat. The Ray boys basketball team made it to the state B. Can you tell me? We had Coach Bergstrom on in March when that run was happening. What the last few months have been like to see the community swell support of what's going on in your town right now?
Well, honestly, Dom, it's not really surprising, because like these kids started playing travel basketball in 3rd grade, and we started getting support from the community when these kids were 3rd and 4th graders. So like we would go to tournaments in Iowa, and people would give donations back then. So like to see it now, it's amazing, but it's not surprising just seeing where it started and how much support they had back then.
You're also double role as dad as well. I want to talk about Ty in a second, but tell me about that role of experiencing this as dad, what that's been like over the last few months.
Well, it's something unreal. I guess you known for a while that he's talented, right? But to see things blow up the way they have, it's a whole different level, and beyond grateful and very blessed, I guess.
So I want to talk, a couple weeks ago, he goes and wins the high jump championship. Has he ever really even done track? He just went out there and won the Class B high jump a few weeks ago in Bismarck.
That was an amazing experience. So I got a coach's pass, so I got to be right down there with him the whole time, and that was probably the coolest moment of my life. and just to be right there with him, and like, yeah, it was awesome. But no, he's a very part-time high jumper. Like it's AAU basketball, and yeah, he gets a couple 2 to 3 practices a week in track, and we don't even have a track in Ray or Tioga's, who we co-op with. And he went to Stanley the day before they left for state, and he's like, Dad, I don't think I'm gonna do very good. I think the highest I cleared was 5'10". And
that's amazing.
But that's just kind of the way. That's kind of the way he does things. That probably never really surprises you.
That probably adds a little bit more sweeter to the victory, right? The fact that there's no real place for you guys to actually practice for it, and he goes and does that, right?
Well, and that's the cool thing about like this whole complex,
right.
You know, is it'll help all the athletes and give them a place to actually train and to do their thing. And it won't matter if they're a multi-sport athlete, they can play baseball too and come and work on things.
So, Eric, we had Ty on, I want to say December, when things got real with football recruiting. I believe the Gophers offered him there, and now he's had a bunch of others. Can you describe this as dad? He just finished his freshman year of high school. What this is like for you guys and seeing all this start so early.
I really can't, to be honest with you. It's beyond even words. You know, like when, I can't say I was young, but I was kind of young, like 20-ish, and you see Tyler Roll running over the Gophers, and then you're talking to Tyler Roll at Iowa State, and you know, like Polasek, and always, you know, it's crazy to think the things that the opportunities that he has ahead of him, and it's a really cool deal. And just the time and effort that he puts into things, it's awesome.
Can you take me, I don't know this part of the story when you had him on, when did you find out that the Gophers had offered him? Were you there? Did he call you? Can you tell us that, your part of that story?
Yeah, so we were down at Minnesota, and so since he's so young, they can't officially contact him until 24 hours before he's on campus. Right. So it was about right at the 24-hour mark, and then we got contacted, and it was over Black Friday, because they were playing Wisconsin, and they called and said, well, if you guys are in town, we would love to have you guys come and do a tour as well. So we did the tour, and it was really good. And then we get to the hospitality room, recruiting room, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, one of the coaches just came up, and yeah, it was a pretty quick deal, and offered him. And I don't know who was more surprised, him or me. 'Cause I told him, you know, Ty, this is just the start of things. You know, no expectations. Let's just, this is just where it starts. And yeah, then it went from there, and then all expectations just kind of out the window. I guess Dad's advice didn't mean anything after that.
I just say buckle up and enjoy the ride that's going to be for the next little bit. Last thing before I let you go, and I appreciate you doing this, just the impact that this can have of the new field. I know your community center is coming as well. How much can this just change the whole complexity of the town of Ray that this is going to happen?
Well, I think it's going to change a lot, especially, like I said, with the new power plant that's being built about 6 miles west of here. Yeah, it's going to change everything, and that's one of the main driving factors. Is we and as a city, we've also purchased a lot of land, so we're capable of growing. And yeah, it's. We want the people to move to Ray and not go to Williston. We feel like we have a better school district. We have better infrastructure, and we're just capable of growing. So I guess why not Ray?
It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see it in person. Thanks so much for doing this, bud. Have a great summer, and we'll catch up down the road, okay?
All right, sounds great. Thanks a lot.
For the time. There he goes, Eric Barman joining us from Ray, North Dakota. The renderings of that look fantastic, and for those that have been along Highway 2, they know exactly what Eric's talking about. Ray co-ops with Powers Lake in football. You saw a little bit of their games when they were from Ty's play from this past football season, and just this is something that obviously the community thinks they need. And he said it perfectly about with Ty's track deal of having to go all the way to Stanley to try and practice. Now this would be available to them right in their town. Something looks like that is needed, and the fact that they can do it without any taxpayer money, I'm sure that makes it go all over a heck of a lot better in the town of Ray. Appreciate his time, and we'll be keeping our eyes on Ty. That's the guy we had him on in December, I want to say. People saw him at the State B basketball tournament. He had a couple of dunks for the Ray Jays when they made it to the Minot State Dome. Then he goes and wins the state high jump championship a few weeks ago in Bismarck. That's just a name we're going to know. Get to know it. He doesn't graduate till this time in 2029, folks. So we're going to get to know him over the next few years. We'll break, come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. Big second hour on tap here on this Thursday morning edition of Hot Mike, which rolls on after this. All right, wrapping up our first hour. Our thanks to Eric Barman for giving us a few minutes there. That was good stuff. Another popping up. So, I mean, if you think of it, I'm sure I'm going to miss a town. Partial now has turf. Our guy Hedberg got it named after him. He's kind of a big deal. Killdeer, we know, has it. Dickinson has it. I'm just thinking on the western side, Watford certainly has it. I believe Williston does. When we first got our first turf fields around here, and how big a deal it was. And I can remember covering some high school football games, specifically smaller ones, smaller school games. Like, man, this just is not doable. There were some that had to move. Like when Castleton got its turf field put down, and I want to say 2017, 2018, people in Castleton can email me and correct me if I'm wrong on that. It was right about them, because I remember we were out there to do a old high school game of the week when they debuted it for the first time, and it was fantastic. Just like, wow, this is at the time Castleton being a Class B school, like, holy cow, Central Cass has got this. This is downright impressive. And now look at the laundry list that's followed here over the last almost decade, where they're sprouting up all over. Wahpeton has it now. Obviously, it's science. And you look at it, it can go a long way to actually having not have to worry about your field and being. It happened here in town. Davies for years could not play a game on their field after October. Like when we got after September, when we got to October 1, it was not going to happen. They ended up moving playoff games to Fargo South before they got their turf. That's how bad it got. North the same way. And now that it's here, it's revolutionary. And for a city like Ray that can get something like that and a town that size that doesn't have any of that shared ability or having to send its athletes an hour plus away to go do something, that is a big, big deal. So we'll follow that. I'm sure once gets done and get some video because it's going to be pretty darn cool to see it be completed out there. Let's see. I got a couple messages to track down here. Going back to last night, just saying what a game. Can't believe that happened. I turned the TV off, turned it back when I saw that what the score was. I'm sure you're not alone. I'm sure there are plenty of people that actually went to bed, woke up this morning, and thinking, it's going to be 2-2. What was the finals? Hey, how many did the Spurs win by? And then seeing, what happened? Yeah, I'm sure there's not alone on that if you turned that off and decided to either give it a rest or fall asleep or see something else. Crazy finish there. All right, we'll break. We come back. We'll start our second hour. Our guy Sam Goetzinger will join us here in studio. Plenty to chat with Sam about, including the end of last night's game and a few other things we'll hit with Sam. That's coming up as Hour 2 of Hot Mic begins on a Thursday morning. We're back after this.
This is Hot Mic. On the networks of WDAY. Here's Dom Izzo.
Bunions. You may have heard of them. That was my original line.
Hey, thank you, Dom. Johnny Cool Guys there with the sunglasses on.
That was off the dome
To the west of
when
Illinois.
I'm looking on it, like west. I
Yes,
shouldn't say
west.
right and left. Is that Missouri?
That is Missouri.
Yes.
That
It's
is
underneath
Missouri.
Iowa.
Way to go.
Oh, I'm getting good at this.
He's coming.
So we're going to like the bottom peninsula region.
Peninsula.
Okay, we're going to come back on the ETSU tailgate and then go to you. How am I going to go from a tailgate to bunions?
Okay, good deal.
Let's take a moment and talk about bunions.
We haven't heard that intro in a bit.
It's been a
a little bit.
It's been a minute.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great to have you back in studio. Our guy Sam Goetzinger joins us each and every Thursday. You've been traversing North Dakota for a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You were on vacation last week, so it's great to have you back.
Yeah, finally get to sleep in my own bed for a little bit. It's been an
Well,
adjustment.
I'll tell you, and I'm not saying this to you here, we had rave reviews for your commentary, both the track and State A. You and Perry Olson killed it
Perry
at
was
State
great.
A baseball in
Perry
Minot a
was
couple weeks
phenomenal.
ago.
That was the first time I've really had close interactions with Perry. Obviously, I know him from officiating basketball for the last couple of years, but he came on the mic, and it was second nature for him. He used to do that back in the day,
Yes.
so this is like riding a bike for him, and he was fantastic,
You had some
entertaining.
good games.
Yeah.
It was an all-East domination out there.
Mm-hmm.
So what'd you make of Corbett Field? Was that your first time at Corbett Field?
No, actually went there in college when I was covering the St. Cloud State baseball team.
Okay.
They went up there to play Minot State for a series, and this was before all of the renovations they had, so it wasn't turf at that point, and they didn't have the big video board or all the monster signage, especially the big logo out in center field. So what they've been doing there is super cool, especially now that they have the Minot Hot Tots in the Northwoods League. It's a great facility, especially for that state tournament. It was packed. We got lucky with rain, unlike you. So
we got hit a couple days at Jamestown. It didn't materialize your way.
I think the only things where there's some big support beams in the grandstand that kind of blocked
Not
some
ideal.
view, and the overhang of the grandstand, you kind of lost some fly balls if it got too high. But besides that, I thought it was a great venue.
So we just had Eric Barman on. You know his son. You've called a couple of ties unbelievable unbelievable performance this year. First at the State B basketball tournament, and then he won the high jump at State Track. This kid again is just a freshman. Right. We are going to hear from him quite a bit over the next 3 years.
One of the more exciting freshman athletes I've seen in a long time, and the state of Minnesota pumps out freshman athletes. That are pretty impressive. But Ty is a different animal.
Madden Greenway comes to mind because we heard about her as I think a seventh grader at Providence Academy. Now she's finally graduated and going to Kentucky to play basketball. But Ty, first off, has the size of him, and just PJ Fleck certainly likes something to offer him a scholarship to play in Minnesota in December.
I saw when we were in Minot for the Division B basketball tournament, and even in warm-ups, he's getting up there and throwing it down with ease. And then in game, he puts down 2 dunks in the quarters, and they were just tomahawks. And he's sending blocks back to the third row. Granted, I will give him this. Some of them were fouls, and they were called, but they were emphatic. and he was jumping out of the gym. And I was talking with the 2 coaches that were in the championship, and that was after the third-place game that he played in, and they're talking about Ty. They're not talking about their game ahead. They're talking about Ty. And then he comes to the track and field meet and wins the high jump over Aiden Hansen, who was last year's winner from Central McLean, and also got him in the basketball championship. So a little revenge there. And impressive athlete, really impressive athlete, can jump out of any gym.
Be fun to follow over the next little bit. Did you stay with the basketball game last night, or did you turn it off?
The beauty of the NBA, the first 3.5 quarters don't mean anything. Apparently, you don't. I had
sound like my dad. My dad has said that forever.
I've been saying that forever too. It's like, okay, baseball game, Twins game. I'll wait until the final 7 innings or final 2 innings.
Sometimes you have to wait that long.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I had it on. I was making some steak sandwiches last night, doing laundry, so my attention was to there. Yeah. And then I saw, it's a 15-point game in the fourth quarter. Well, I'll pay a little bit more attention, and then got it down to 9, and then 4 with like 4 minutes left. I'm like, we got a brand new game here. I'll lock in.
So I want to play the end of the game because there's a couple things when we did the highlights. I showed again of just a few things that highlighted at the end here. They're just crazy that took place. The one to me at the end here is the play where the Knicks miss after the Brunson make here, and can't overlook, by the way, the Stephon Castle 2 free throws. That's huge because Wembanyama missed 2.
Yes, that one.
Right?
Yep.
But here on the rebound that Castle gets fouled, he makes – that is not easy to do because Wembanyama just missed 2 free throws. Right. He gives San Antonio the lead. That is a tough spot to be in for a kid who's 21 years old.
In that environment that was rocking, the weight of the city.
This is the play, though, Sam. This can be talked about forever. What De'Aaron Fox just dribble out the ball. Yep. They have to foul you. And he went for and Anunoby blocked it.
Yep. Good on OG for making that a clean block, but I totally agree with you. What is De'Aaron doing? He's been in this league long enough to know to just keep on going, go around the horn, bring it back
and
out
that play
to the
there that it's not over and back is so close to being an over and back violation.
Yep.
And then the fact that nobody blocks him out. There's nobody with a black jersey anywhere close. And to win and that's not an easy play either.
No.
It's not like a follow jam. Right. You just got to time it perfectly to get your hand on the ball.
Mm-hmm. That place was mayhem after that one went into.
Mike Breen said bedlam, and that's exactly
that was
right
awesome.
phrase.
OG was great OG Anunoby was great down the stretch for the New York Knicks. And I think once they got close to the lead and had the lead, Josh Hart made some pretty catastrophic mistakes that luckily they got away with. But it's just a mess there for Spurs, mental mistakes, and that shows. Yeah, it's a young team. Victor's only been in the league a couple of years. Stephon Castle, what is he in his rookie year? If I'm not second year,
he was rookie of the year a couple of years ago.
Okay, yeah. So he's still a young guy. It's mistakes like that you can't have in the NBA Finals, and they easily could have ran away with the win, even when it was close. But they just couldn't push it together, and everything was working the way of the Knicks. And I have to imagine a raucous crowd like that really helped out.
The fact they kept jacking threes also was you change it up. It's not working.
Right.
I know you hit 14 of them in the first half.
14 in the first half, but if it's not clicking out of the locker room, you got to switch up your game plan.
They scored 30 points
when you got an
8-foot
guy, just go down low and have him draw fouls. and like you mentioned, those 2 missed free throws he had, I thought those were
monstrous,
huge.
Did they somehow? How do they Spurs rally on this.
Yeah.
How do you even do this for Game 5 on Saturday night now?
Well, I think I talked about it last time I was in your chair hosting this show, and you mentioned it too the day before. I don't know how the Spurs don't wipe the floor with the Knicks going into this series, but that has completely changed. I don't know what happened to the Spurs team. I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. I also thought the Stanley Cup was going to be a cakewalk as well, but see how wrong I am on that. But even if you go back home, granted you're home, but still, all the momentum in the world is riding with the Knicks.
And it was just such a 180. Because at about 8:30 last night, I'm thinking, all right, it's 2-2.
Yep.
Everything is going the Spurs' way. They're going to win Game 5, and they probably win the series. Now, what just happened, how do the Knicks not win Saturday night and win this thing?
Right.
I don't know how that's not going to happen
I totally agree. It'd probably be a similar story because what have the Spurs jumped out to a huge lead in every game?
They have led in every game after the first quarter by double digits.
Yeah, it's been a comfortable margin, too. And they just keep on blowing it away.
And they've lost 3 of the 4 games.
Something's got to change. Something's got to. And they had cat and foul trouble pretty much all game yesterday, didn't they? He had 3 on him in the first quarter.
Yeah, he had 2 in the first 2 minutes of the game. It was at his set.
You gotta keep the pedal to the metal in that situation. It was fantastic. It was. You would have thought John McEnroe and Larry David were the most famous people in the world. By the way, with how many times they showed them at the end of the game.
I don't know if you're a Curb Your Enthusiasm fan. They shared a tremendous episode together. Both Larry David and John McEnroe were together. Thinking about it now, I'll start crying, laughing. It's fantastic. Well, I don't know. Social media is not real life because people are like, "Oh, I can't wait till ESPN shows another." I had no problem with that. No, it's fun to see who's there.
I just thought it was funny because they've cut to those two. I think 3 times after the game.
Yes.
It just kept going
Seinfeld. Jerry was on there quite a bit.
Well,
too.
Jerry had a great reaction of just in disbelief as to what happened. I thought that was really cool.
And T Swift showed up. I didn't expect that.
That was random.
With Mariska Hargitay, by the way.
Where was Kelsey? Is that the latest drama that
he's probably
was
working
at the game and he's not?
Right?
I don't know.
The Chiefs back at camp or something?
Probably.
So
you can take time off
of
Chiefs
that,
camp.
We have Game 5 tonight of the Stanley Cup Final.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, and that has been a gong show. This every game has been fantastic. We've had 3 one-goal games, and then Game 4 was decided by an empty netter. So it was 5-3. What do you make of what's happened with Carolina and Vegas?
Well, like I said, I didn't think Vegas would get out of last round, and they
swept Colorado.
They did that.
Yeah.
There's just something about this Vegas team. I know it's a young franchise, but whenever they get in the playoffs, that's a team you don't want to see. Yeah. I thought Carolina was just going to hammer these guys in the Stanley Cup Finals, and that hasn't been the case. They've been sticking to their game plan of low amount of shots, but they're effective and they're getting goals. But it's anybody's series in my opinion.
Listen to this: that Vegas has outscored Carolina 10-2 in the second period. Carolina's outscored Vegas 9-1 in the third period. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's
how you get a 2-2 series.
That's a crazy flip. That's a crazy flip. I'm still leaning with Carolina just based off of what I've seen from them throughout the season. I think they're the stronger team, one of the better teams on that side of the country, if you will. But Vegas is just sneaky, and all these goals, they seem like they're dirty goals.
Yeah.
It's
the double overtime winner was an ugly one.
Yes.
Bounce off the backboards, they ended up winning the game.
You go all playoffs with seeing these pretty goals, snipes from all over the place, and these ones are bouncing off the end wall, bouncing off of goalie equipment, and finding their way in. Now, granted, that one was a nice shot, but it's been a great series to watch.
Give me the story on Brandon Bussey, the Carolina goaltender who hadn't played in 2 months, and now he's going to start Game 5 tonight.
Obviously, he's an NCHC guy, a Western Michigan guy. That's kind of where I know him from. And, burst onto the scene. And, man, he's been really lights out for Carolina, and that's what you need for goaltending. I don't know how you put him in that situation, and he's able to respond to that so great. Well. Granted, Western Michigan, he's been in some tough situations over there, and he was really good in his time in college. But I think that was before Western Michigan went on their boom and went on their national championship run. And he's been one of the top names of this position for a little bit, so I'm glad to see they're giving him a strong chance in a big stage like this, and I think he could do it. I think he could, but Vegas is sneaky.
This goal is amazing from Jordan Staal.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Play.
Falling down backwards on your stomach and slap it in, that's impressive.
So You got Carolina then, is what you're saying tonight?
Yeah, I'm going to go Carolina still, I think.
This is going 7. I think.
Yes.
I think we're going the distance here.
I think so.
Just the way this series is going, I think we're playing 7 full games.
And then you think the Knicks wrap it up here pretty quickly.
I dare making a prediction in the NBA Finals to seem like a folly exercise here. I just don't know how San Antonio gets off the mat after what happened on last night.
I think for the sake of having stuff to talk about next week, a couple more things. I wouldn't mind a San Antonio win, but
because Game 6 would be Tuesday night.
Right.
As the fan in me, I would love for them to win it in New York.
Exactly.
I would love for that to happen.
It feels wrong for the Knicks to go back to Texas, win it there, and then the parties in New York.
Did you see the part afterwards last night? It's like they thought they won it. Like,
exactly.
Whoa.
It was crazy. It was crazy. I actually knew a couple people that were in New York last night. And
really?
Yeah, it was me. I was seeing some pictures and videos. And
were they at the game, or they were taking part in what happened outside MSG?
They were at a bar close to MSG, and actually the AC wasn't working. There was thousands of people in there, and so it was pretty warm from what I've been told.
That sounds like a great New York City story.
Just crazy place to be.
It's going to be a great atmosphere. And granted, the Knicks fans have traveled everywhere.
Yeah,
look, I mean, they went to Cleveland, like how raucous they were when they celebrated when they swept the Cavs. They'll do it again.
I think
Saturday night in San Antonio.
Before we go to break here, and I know we do, I think what I really like are the watch parties. Like the watch party in San Antonio last night looked like it was really well attended. The watch parties that they've been having in Carolina, and they had the light show on the ice showing where the puck and the players are. That's something I would go to.
That's kind of neat.
That's pretty cool. I
didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah,
it's
cool. Pretty cool. It was packed.
All right, let's break. We come back. A couple more things we want to hit with Sam, including on the big high school local story that happened over the last few days. And we'll test his knowledge of the decathlon. That's coming up. We come back after this. All right, welcome back, everybody. Back with our guy, Sam Goetzinger. All right, you are on top of everything happens high school football, both in Minnesota, North Dakota.
We'll see.
This involves both states. And reporting on the Drew Kessel story last week, I think I was took in the direction that the bigger story wasn't him committing to NDSU. It was him transferring to play for Moorhead this coming fall.
I would agree with that. I thought that was, I mean, good for him. He wants to play in the biggest class in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And you see where his talents match up. I think that offense over in Moorhead's going to be pretty crazy. But is this something that sets a precedent maybe we're going to see more of in the future?
I think so.
I think, is that the road that we're heading down right now? Feel for South because Kessel was a big part of their team, but once he goes over to Moorhead, I think Jet's going to throw for 9,000 yards this year,
well,
500
that's the thing.
yards a game.
Okay, there is only one football, but you've got Tay Rich, you've got David Mack, Zach Walker is pretty dynamic on the outside, and then you throw this guy into the mix?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
What are you supposed to do?
And there's been so many times where Moorhead, their offense will come out of the field. It's 3 plays and an 80-yard touchdown. So it's not like they're on the field for a very long time each game. We'll see how their defense can match with their offense. But Kessel going to Moorhead, that should put the rest of the state on notice, especially all those big schools that are coming up here next season.
I think we were already under the impression that Moorhead, at least I was going to be the preseason number 1 in 6A.
I would think so.
This will put it over the top, but I just knowing what they have back and what everybody else may lose. I'm talking to Dinah first off. If Dinah loses, it's all-state quarterback, it's all-state running back, the guy who scored every touchdown against the Spuds. Is finally graduating. Moorhead's got it. Minnetonka's going to be awfully good.
Right.
If it's not the Spuds, it's Minnetonka that's going to be 1 or 1A for the preseason poll.
I would agree with that. Never count out those big schools down there because they have a massive talent pool to choose from, and it always seems like they're pumping out some pretty good athletes in that area. And just for a school like Moorhead to have 4 guys going to Minnesota and now an NDSU guy on their offense, that's pretty good.
On the topic you talked about, is going to happen more, and we talked about a little bit yesterday on the show or on Tuesday. I forget when we exactly addressed it. Do I feel great about it? No, because I drew the line with the portal in college and transferring. They're adults. They're making adult decisions. High school, different deal.
that's why I don't know
Right.
how I feel. I don't feel as great about it in high school as I
Right.
do at the collegiate level. I don't
it's-
know. That might be hypocritical. That's just how I feel about it.
It's hard to differentiate. Okay, you're doing it just for athletics, or you're doing it because
So
your family has a job. and you're moving
when
down that
I
way.
asked Drew about it, and he said there was personal
Yes.
reasons
Yep.
for doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I
So-
should have explored it further with him, and that was on me. I did not do that, but
right,
because I'd like
but
to
on
know
the same
what
note,
it was.
his personal deals are
Yeah.
his personal
Right.
deals. So you have to make you have to differentiate it between, okay, are they going there just for athletics, or are they going there because of other circumstances that have brought them to whatever school it may be.
Right.
What Tommy Oneman going down from West Fargo Cheyenne down to Cretin-Durham Hall. You know what I mean?
And there were a lot of hurt feelings on that.
Yes.
There totally was when
Right.
that happened. That's a great point.
And he's closer down to his family
Yep.
in that case, but yes, probably mostly because of basketball.
Yep.
And it obviously worked out well for him. He became the top player in the state of Minnesota and now at Notre Dame.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, it's an interesting deal.
And I think it's
sports
something
all over.
it's
Yeah.
happened in other parts of the country probably quite a lot,
absolutely.
and now it's come here. And I
Yes.
think, again, that's a shock, I think, for people here that are like, what? And
Right.
this is another
Yep.
thing that happens in big-time cities, Fargo and more. It's big-time sports city, folks. I've been trying to tell you that for a while, that this is here.
The wave of events of bigger schools are now
Yeah.
coming to North Dakota.
Correct.
Oh, man, this hasn't happened before. Oh, now kids are transferring away. Oh, that hasn't happened before.
Right.
Well, get used to it.
And you hit the nail on the head about competition level. Fargo South, and I had to remind people, Fargo South is not in AAA football. I don't think this stops Drew from going, but
Right.
Fargo South plays in the second biggest class in
Yes.
North Dakota. He's going to the top one in Minnesota, which has Division I athletes at every school. If you look at it from Eden Prairie, Minnetonka, Wayzata, Maple Grove.
Yep. Maple Grove
I can tell
especially,
you, I can
yes.
tell you there's at least 4 or 5 guys that are playing Division I football somewhere.
Right.
It's just going to be the
Yep.
case.
Yep.
And why
You're
would you want to
essentially
challenge
playing
yourself?
college football, at that
Very
point.
accurate.
So
Yep.
if you want to test yourself going
Right.
into your first year at North Dakota State or at the University of Minnesota, that's the class to do it in this region.
Yes.
It's really, really good football. And it's not like he's packing up everything and moving 5 hours away.
Yeah.
He's moving down the street, essentially. You know what I mean?
Which I don't know if that makes it better or worse
Yeah,
for some
yeah, that's
people
a good
to stomach.
point.
I
That's a
think
good
for some,
point.
I think they could stomach the Tommy Oneman move.
Yep.
But this one's like, really?
Yeah.
That, I think, makes it harder for some people to stomach on that.
It's an interesting deal, and we'll see how many more that opens up the door for
I don't think
in the
it's-
future.
I think
but
there's more coming. I do.
But in the grand scheme of things, Moorhead's going to be a scary team. Yeah,
Man.
they're going to be really, really good. And the question is, how's their defense going to hold up? I've heard that multiple times
Yes.
since the move. Okay, they got all the weapons on offense. What is it going to do for their
Right.
defense? And we saw how important defense was in their prep bowl game against Edina.
Absolutely right. They needed one more stop, and they would have won the championship, and they could not.
It also
get
would have
it.
helped if they, 300 yards of rushing and 6 touchdowns, wasn't in the mix. But I'll leave
very
it at
true.
that. I'll leave it at that.
Are you excited for the World Cup? Do you know the World Cup starts today? I know you're not a huge soccer guy.
I did not know until you said that. I hear they're in America.
They are.
That's awesome.
It is.
I don't know exactly. Kansas, maybe they're in Kansas.
Kansas
right?
City is hosting
the
one.
MetLife
Yep.
or something.
It is in New York. Yep.
I'm never. People know this. I've said this on this show many times, especially when I'm talking with Drew. I don't know anything about how professional soccer works. Am I going to tune it on for a little bit? Yeah, probably. Am I going to watch a whole game? Probably not.
You watch the U.S. play or no?
I mean, I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I'll put it on.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah,
Yes.
it hasn't been. I love it when it's college, or high school stuff. I can get into that,
Yeah.
but when it's this stuff, it's not my flavor.
See, the Olympics and the World Cup for me are in the same boat. Like, I don't have to invest every game on it. You know what I mean? Like, in terms of, I can invest for a month though. Like
Yes.
for the Olympics, I can invest for 2 weeks. I can care about cross country skiing, like I did, or figure skating, or speed skating.
Right.
I don't need to know everybody, but
Yeah.
I can focus for this for a month. Sure, I can.
More
I
power
can,
to
I
you,
can do
man.
that.
I can invest 20 minutes. That's about.
Now-
I'll try to learn, and I'll try to get down
Yeah.
all the big storylines and whatnot.
I don't.
but-
I'm not sitting there. I'm going to tell you I'm watching every match. No. Will
Yeah.
it be honest background noise? Probably.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you on that.
That
you
might
know?
be the case.
If I'm mowing the lawn and there's a match on, all right. That might be tough to do with mowing, but I'm gonna do that.
Well, we are getting close to the U.S. Open in the PGA
That is
Tour,
true. That's so U.S. Open
that's
is
going
next
to put
week.
my attention to that. That's a pretty big time.
That's why I was saying, and we got to go here, but June normally is kind of the month. It is not.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
I mean, this stretch here between the NBA Finals, Stanley Cup Final, going into the World Cup, going into the U.S. Open next week.
Yep.
I mean, holy cow, we're on a run. Before you know it, we're going to be in training camp for football.
I mean, it's unbelievable how fast.
And then we go.
I feel
that.
like it wasn't too long ago that it felt like we didn't have really anything going on at this point of the year, and now it's just crazy with news.
Do you know the events in the decathlon? Are you a great since you
I'm a track and field guy now.
You are a great track
and field guy now.
Yeah.
Do you want me to name all of them?
Can you do the 10?
What they did yesterday. They did the 100. They did the long jump. They did the high jump. Did they do the shot put yesterday?
They did.
They did the 400 deal,
Yep,
didn't they?
there you go.
So that's 5.
There's 5. You got half of them
That's
right
day
there.
What is today? Some sort of hurdle situation.
110-meter hurdles.
110.
That's 6.
Javelin.
7.
Right. Discus.
8.
They got another long run coming up, don't they? That
do.
sounds horrible.
That's the 1,500 meters. I'll give you that. It's 9.
Gross.
What's the last one?
The last one, what field? Pole vault.
Bam!
That's what it is.
Look at you.
I'm in. I'm into this world now. See, I may not watch the World Cup, but I'll watch track and field.
You know what? And I do as well. The track championships are great television.
Now that
it's
I
really
understand what is happening, as opposed to the first 23 years of my life where I had no idea what was going on, now I can watch something and be like, oh, yeah, that's good.
The Summit League Track Championships got it started, and State blew it up for us. So there you go.
Pretty
so
much.
Now you're in.
Much. I dipped my toes in it last year, and now I've dropped down to my knees. So I'm in it.
It's great to have you back. I will say an early thank you. You're going to be filling in for me next week because I'm taking a little vacation. So
we'll see. I'll try not to burn the place down while you're gone. So we'll see how it goes.
Thanks for doing that next week, and thanks for stopping by today.
Absolutely.
Sam Goetzinger joins us each and every Thursday at 10 o'clock. We'll break. We come back. Are you a big video game guy?
Huge.
This is a huge deal. I'm old on this, but this apparently is a big deal.
This is one of the biggest things in my life right now, so I'll be tuned in
College Football 27. We'll talk with Troy Goergen about it. We come back after this. Welcome back, everyone. Thursday morning show rolls on. Final half hour here. Get you ready for another great sports night on tap. Nothing better on a Thursday morning for two middle-aged guys to talk about video games, but that's what we're going to do here in this next segment. We talked about it late last week when the renderings came out and the first trailer dropped for College Football 27, and North Dakota State had its likeness in there, which set my Twitter feed on fire. And for the last few days, it has been a hot topic for people certainly younger than me on North Dakota State being involved in the game. Troy Goergen joins us, NDSU Senior Associate AD, charge of marketing. And he's the man who's, I don't know if you ever thought he'd be talking about video games on TV with me, but we're going to do it here this morning. It's great to see you, bud. Thanks for doing this. All right, so give me first your perspective on this. When the announcement comes that North Dakota State's going to move to FBS football, when does the video game part of this come to your attention?
I think it was early to mid-February is when we got the first contact from EA Sports, and it may have been right around that time that our licensing company, CLC, reached out saying that, hey, expect a call or expect an email. So I was looking at the calendar this morning. It's been a short, quick 3 months. But yeah, we were excited to get word and have been kind of working on it almost daily since.
So EA reaches out, Troy, and what are they asking for? What can you give us the lowdown on the conversations, at least in the start of how this process worked out?
Well, I mean, quite literally from the start, it was like, hey, congratulations, Mountain West. You're going to be in the game, as the slogan goes. And then it was like, they kind of laid out, here's what we've done thus far. We've submitted our licensing. Here are kind of the next steps, starting to get photos, videos, so they can start building their renderings. Obviously, they're, getting the student athletes in touch with the third party that was handling those contracts. So it was, in terms of, working with organizations from a licensing standpoint or a project standpoint, they had it all together. It was just a matter of following through with their steps and getting them what they needed in a timely manner, because we are working under a much quicker timeline than most would, but we're happy to do it to be in the game this year as opposed to waiting. So
was that
exciting? I
guess, was it surprised to find out that you were going to be in the game this year? Was there some, okay, well, that might be something that happens next fall, next summer?
A little bit of a surprise, but to be honest, I obviously knew the game was out there, but it just all happened so quickly. It was like, okay, it's here in front of us. There's some surprise, but at the end of the day, like, let's do it. There's no complaining. We're in. Let's get rolling and get them what they need.
So off of that, that's a perfect segue. What did they need? What did you provide EA for the video game?
Mainly just photos and videos to start. They do have, like I explained to you last week, they do have a much longer, more detailed process for submitting photos that will go into, starting now, that'll give them better photos of the dome. So we got them as much as we could from a photo and video standpoint to show them what game day looked like. Given the short timeline, getting all the photos, which I think it literally totals 1,200 plus photos, every angle of the dome, so that shows the exact details of the Fargo Dome. We'll be getting those between now and obviously the end of the summer. But what we got them to start was just as many photos, videos, and renderings as we could that would help them build out the dome as accurate as possible for year one.
So you do that. They go to work on it. When did you first hear back to say, hey, this is what we've got? When the process was that?
Yeah, I would say like a month, 6 weeks ago, we started to see some, early renderings of probably primarily like the uniforms and the helmets. Yep. And then they worked, directly with our equipment staff to get samples shipped out. So the thing about EA that has impressed me, and not surprised by it, but the level of detail and attention to detail, like they want every detail, spot on. So they did everything they could to, whether requesting more photos or requesting the actual helmets and uniforms to make sure that it looked as accurate as possible. So it was really just being really responsive to their requests. And, they did, the majority of the work. Obviously, we just wanted to make sure we were timely with everything they asked of us.
Troy, when you saw the first renderings, what went through your mind? Like, how did they look good? What was the initial reaction?
I mean, anybody that's seen video games, and I have a 15-year-old son who plays games, and I'm always flabbergasted by the realism of the games compared to, the Tecmo Bowl when I was 15.
Love Tecmo Bowl.
Some of the video quality is unbelievable, and then even some of the the renderings of the dome, there was some not concern, but they pointed out early that we won't have the dome exact. So I said, well, I'm a little nervous. Can you send me some samples? And they sent me some, and I was like, okay, that looks pretty good. And they get down to the level of detail of, okay, the roof, the steel in the roof isn't going to look exactly the same. And now seeing some of the rendering now, there are some more obvious differences, but they said that's not necessarily a bad thing, because then next year the dome should be right as it exists, and there's going to hopefully be at some point changes to the dome that will be in the game. So you see other universities have been in the game for years. That's kind of what they're promoting is, hey, now in the game is these details. So we're taking it step by step, but excited to see what the full picture looks like come July.
To a T, when I talked to the players the day of the announcement, all of them unprompted could not contain their excitement that they were going to be in the game. Have they had a look at this yet, or have you kept that within the administration right now? Have the players had a chance to see some of the renderings of what it looks like prior to the trailer last week?
Yeah, we've had to keep it kind of under wraps, so nobody other than a small handful of folks here in the athletic department and with our licensing company have seen it. But we have had conversations with them, and obviously now that they're here working camps and things like that. We're doing some promotional videos with them, so you can see the excitement in their faces when they talk about the game, and then seeing what came out last week, like, clearly you see existing players being used in the game is pretty cool.
So the trailer comes out last week. Did you know that was coming? And then NDSU is in it, and then take me through it, because then things went crazy last Friday. That's when I called you.
Honestly, we didn't know that EA was going to announce last Thursday, and there's been a lot of communication since, and there'll be an update here in the next few days directly from EA that'll help set the course for us. But for us, since last Thursday, it's been like we've been in a stream, and the current keeps going faster, and we're just trying to grab branches as we go down because we do have a plan, and that we've been working on for 3 months that we'll be rolling out that'll help promote gameplay and everything that we talked about last week. It's just things are moving quicker than we anticipated, but it's all positive.
So now, beyond the game part of it, there's a financial ramification to this as well, which doing more research on it, that I found out that the more that people play the game, the royalties go to the school could be pretty lucrative. Can you describe or tell us a little bit more about that?
So the royalties for the game are based on gameplay. So EA Sports will track how many times people play as NDSU. So our goal is to encourage people to use NDSU in the game, and not only our own fans, which based on social media, there may be some lost work time and maybe some rough patches and some marriages coming up, but a lot of time I think be spent on our fans. But our goal is, what about the gamer from Florida that doesn't necessarily have a team? We're trying to get those people to pick us and play with us, and we have some gamification promotions that we're going to be launching here very soon that'll help encourage that. But all that will go back to the royalty, so we'll get paid a royalty based on how often it's played, and from the numbers that there are some out there that's public, and I think if you searched what Missouri State made last year, I think they made around 100,000. We were told, anywhere in the high 5 figures to low 6 figures, which would be consistent with what Missouri State is out there on them. So that's a big number from our licensing budget standpoint. But the way we're looking at it, we just talked about it this morning, is like we want to do what we can to make that number grow as high as we can make it. And if it's over 100,000, great. If it's I think that the attention that we give to the game, not only when it launches, but beyond that, will help grow that royalty as high as we can get it.
Two last things on that before I let you go. That you guys are planning, I think you told me, like a marketing campaign, a promotional campaign to let people know that to play the game helps the school out.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll be rolling that out here. The initial plan was to roll it out here at the end of June, but we're probably going to move that up, knowing that the buzz is out there. The gaming community is very active on social media, so some of our promotions will be centered around some of those influencers that are out there. But then also some, like I said, gamification contests that will encourage gameplay and really encourage, affinity towards NDSU. The big thing, you can talk royalty and finances from a true dollar standpoint, but the amount of brand equity that we'll get out of this is, huge. So not only are we going to encourage gameplay, but we're really using it as a platform to promote the NDSU brand and NDSU football across the nation to a segment of the public that is huge. Gamers are all ages and all parts of the globe. So we're trying to push NDSU as much as we can to not only build royalty but build brand affinity as well.
Do you ever think your job title would encompass talking about video games and having this as part of it?
No, and there's so many extensions that you start to think of too off of this that, it's one of those challenges or new things about the move up that are coming our way that our job is to capitalize on them. So learning some new things, but exciting new challenges. We're loving the challenge and trying to capitalize as much as we can.
So July 9th, the game comes out, and you were mentioning off air, the guys, the actual football players that are in it, they'll get an advanced copy here in the not-too-distant future, correct?
Yeah, I don't know how far in advance they'll get, but that's part of their contract with being in the game is they'll get an advanced copy of the game. And I don't know if that's a week out, 2 weeks out, but they'll definitely have a game in their hands prior to everybody else.
Crazy stuff. Thanks so much for the info on this, bud. Appreciate it. And we'll catch up soon, okay?
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it.
Troy Goergen joining us, NDSU Senior Associate AD, chatting on North Dakota State now being part of College Football 27. I don't think I need to tell anybody that cares about this. The game comes out July the 9th. And the players that sign a deal to use their likeness in it, they'll get paid $1,500. That is not a small amount of money to be involved in the video game. And crazy stuff. Again, something I didn't think we'd be talking about on this show, but that is now reality for NDSU as being part of an FBS school in the Mountain West Conference. Wild. We'll take our final break. We come back. We'll put a bow on things, get you ready for a busy Sports Thursday. Hot Mike wraps on WDAY Extra right after this. All right, wrapping things up here on this Thursday morning spectacular. We're back with you tomorrow. Corey Provis will join us as the Twins get set for a weekend series after they wrap up today in Detroit. Also, excited we'll have Doogie Wolfson, KSTP TV Sports, will join us. They haven't had Doogs on forever to give us the scoop on a few things, including the Gophers and St. Thomas playing basketball against one another. I want to get the inside story on that from Duke. So that'll be on the show coming up tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Now, back to the world of the absurd. You know, the Brendan Sorsby case has just totally devolved now into an ugly mess since a judge in Texas allowed him to play for this upcoming year. Now we've got the Attorney General of the state of Texas involved in this. He sent a formal letter to the Big 12 today alerting the conference that Texas Tech would take action against any league sanction. We knew that had to be coming. We heard what Gene Taylor's comments from Kansas State were about allowing Sorsby to play, and they're already saying they may want to band together and maybe not allow or not play Texas Tech in anything. Now this has come about. From the letter, it says, quote, any sanction against Texas Tech for acting consistent with the injunction would be a per se violation of federal and state antitrust laws, a naked horizontal agreement among competitors to disadvantage Texas Tech. I had a feeling that was probably coming. So the saga continues here. If only the school could step in and say, you know what, this isn't reflecting well on us, but the fact that they think they can be really good in football this year is totally enveloped everything. Because if Texas Tech were actually to come in and say, you know what, him playing football is not going to help with his addiction, right? Going out there and throwing 3 touchdown passes against Kansas State or against Baylor isn't going to help his gambling addiction. Going to help us win football games, but not necessarily help the young man in his addiction. They could do that. They're not going to because they think they can win a national championship this year. It's just utterly absurd. It really is, and it's just too bad. And now we're going to have this story nonstop. It's June, 11th, and we're going to be on this for a while. It ain't going anywhere. Let's get a couple emails in here before we get to what to watch. Dom, these transfers are no more a kid decision than in college. The adult is making it happen in both cases. In college, the athletes are over 18. In high school, from the actual enrollment to housing to financing, it 100% cannot happen without the parent making it happen. And I mentioned that yesterday on the show in terms of the differentiation I have between the college transfer and a high school transfer on that. And like I said, this is another new sports topic that we really haven't had to deal with a ton. I think more on the hockey side, it certainly has been the case. Hockey families would tell you it's happened a lot, from kids that live in Fargo that have gone to Moorhead to play for the Spuds. Now it's happened on a different scale. When it happens in football, it just gets a different level of attention. And that's no shot at hockey. It may seem that way. It's a different deal. And there's more to come, I'm sure, over the next little bit. It's that time. Let's do some What to Watch before we get out of here. All right, What to Watch brought to us by our friends at Northwestern Mutual. We got another great sports night on tap. Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final tonight in Raleigh. Series tied at 2 games apiece. 7 o'clock, you'll see it live on WDAY. Whoever wins will have a chance to win the Stanley Cup. That'll be Sunday night for game number 6 back in Vegas. Twins and Tigers coming up this afternoon as well. A little matinee on Twins TV. Minnesota going for a series win before they head back home, as Zebby Matthews will start today. That's coming up noon. Corey Provis on the call. Will be with us tomorrow at 9:30. And on the opener of the World Cup, Mexico and South Africa will start things 2 o'clock on Fox to start the 2026 World Cup. We got to roll. Thanks to our guest today, to Eric Barman, to Sam Goetzinger, to Troy Goergen. Missed any of the show, you can podcast it later today at Inforum.com. You can watch a full replay on WDAY+. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Have a thrilling Thursday. We'll see you then.